At around 14 acres, Sandhurst is a slice of Yateley magic. A current stock of approximately 350 to 400 carp, an average of 25 to 27 pounds, and a current lake record of 50 pounds and 4 ounces. The fishing on offer is enough to set the pulse racing of any angler. Before we take a quick tour of the lake, let's look at the rules. Biosecurity and fish safety are of course our #1 priority, so all nets, mats and waders must be dipped upon entry. Each angler must possess a carp care kit that includes an unhooking mat suitable for fish to 50 pounds, Propolis, Medicarp Ultra or an equivalent, and all hook holds and any other marks must be treated. Retaining fish in sacks is not permitted. A net or flotation sling may be used to retain fish for up to 10 minutes whilst preparing for photographs. Rules regarding baits. Permitted feed baits are maize and sweet corn, boilies, freezer only, pellet, bloodworm and liquids. And permitted hook baits are all the permitted feed baits, all imitation baits, and pop-ups and wafters. On terminal tackle, it's micro-barbed hooks only. Long shank hooks are not permitted. A leader of safe zone lead core or tubing of at least 18 inches must be used. There are no zig rigs and no braided mainline. Each angler's rods must be in one peg only. Anglers must not leave their rods unattended at any time. Anyone found with unattended rods risks a ban. Fish of 40 pound and above must be photographed in the water. Rules are subject to change. For a full list and to book your visit, go to sandhurstlake.co.uk. Before we take a quick tour around the lake, please be aware there is no fishing in the channel behind the island or along the no fishing bank signalled on the map as you enter the lake. Litter will not be tolerated. Please be courteous to other anglers and of course the bailiffs. No better place to start than Peg 1, known as Secrets. Out of here you'll find deeper water at full range towards the island. The bottom of the marginal shelf from the no fishing bank is approximately 2 wraps out. Spots along this margin are often productive. To your right, a deep marginal corner that begs to be fished. Next along this west facing bank is Peg 2, known as Dugout. Fishing at range to the obvious skyline markers has provided results throughout the year from this peg. Lots of deeper holes and gravel bars give the angler opportunities galore. Next up on this bank is Peg 3, known as Car Park. One of the favoured pegs amongst those in the know, and not just because of the short journey from your vehicle. Options to fish at short range to the left, long to the middle, and anywhere in between. Weed beds are surrounded by carp hollows and gravel spots. This one's usually high in the pecking order. Into the corner we have Peg 6, a short range swim, great shallow bay that fishes well in the warmer months. Most catches have been at the full 11 wraps, but the margins and under the rod tips can never be ignored. Here we have Peg 8, the first along the road bank, spots at 18 wraps towards the no fishing bank and shorter to the left side of pipes as you look at it. Dotted smooth spots and deeper holes where the gully peters out from 15 to 18 wraps. Then we come to the popular trio of 9, 10 and 11. 9 has spots at range towards the no fishing bank. It really is a popular winter peg that has the range to reach carp holding areas. The start of a gravel bar at approximately 30 yards makes for a shallow plateau to pick fish off from. In the middle of the trio we have Peg 10, fishing towards pipes at range and 4.5 foot at 30 yards as the gravel bar continues to stretch in front of you. You'll find more deeper holes as we start to meet the gully that stretches up to 19. And last of the trio, but by no means least, is Peg 11. Directly in front of 11 and at range, you'll find a 4 to 5 foot plateau. The same gravel bar at 30 yards continues to stretch in front of you, and you'll notice that you really start to meet the end of the gully now. In the middle of the road bank we have 12. There's a platform in front here, so stage stands or a rod pod can be helpful. A shallow plateau at range drops off dramatically either side. Access to the continued gully and the start of the raised gravel bar at approximately 30 yards. Unlucky for some, it's Peg 13. At 16 wraps, looking at the closest corner of the island takes you to the gully. Drop back further for shallow water and gravel seams. Please be aware that Peg 13 and 14 turn to face each other slightly. Boundaries remain the max wraps out and halfway between swims. And on to 14. Looking at middle bailiffs, at full range is where the deeper water starts and moves off to the gravel into the silt. You can work further back, and these shorter spots are not to be neglected. Turning down into 15, we'll be looking directly at right-hand bailiffs or Peg 23 on the opposite bank. Straight into the gully at full range, and although you might not see as many shows at this end of the lake, it certainly can produce, especially at night. Next up is Peg 16, a shallow and gravel strewn peg with plenty of space. You dip into the edge of the gully at 16 wraps, and there's plenty of opportunities to pick fish up all the way into under the rod tips. Behind 16 and 17 is the barbecue area. This is for the use of exclusive bookings only. Recently refurbished, it's a wonderful space to enjoy a barbecue during your social. And of course the last peg on the road bank, peg 17. This one's often overlooked as it can be a bit hemmed in between 16 and 18. Nevertheless, it's a great little summer swim. Is a short range swim. To your left you have the marginal trees, to your right the marginal shelf, and some gravel patches in front. We come round to 19, the famous winter peg, with a deep hole to the right that stretches down to approximately 10 foot. It opens the mouth of the gully and there is deep water under the rod tips. From 19 you get a fantastic overview of the majority of the lake. "20 is another short range swim. It has deeper water to the right into about 7 foot and access to the mouth of the bay, which at the right time of year holds fish very well. 21 is very much a stalking swim, so it's worth trickling a little bait in from time to time, as this could prove fruitful. Very similar to 21 is its neighbour 22, more direct access to the back end of the bay and the opportunity to trick one from right under the rod tips. And round the corner to the first of the 3 pegs, collectively known as bailiffs. Out of 23 there's some nice gravel areas, and to your right the opening to the mouth of the bay. 24 is a peg that's popular all year round. Access to the gully at full distance and plenty of fish holding areas closer in. 25 is often neglected but does give you access to the mouth of the channel behind the island, and of course fishing just off the island itself. Talking of the island, here it is, pegs 26 and 27. 26 has its notorious hotspot to the right and of course access to the gully at distance. Out of 27 you should expect to find plenty of undulations. As the gully peters out, it becomes a series of troughs and peaks and opens out beautifully into the triangle between Pipes, the island and 11. Back off the island and round to peg 28, more recently known as Fields. This is a short chuck swim into the shallow bay between 28 and Little Pipes. Come along the path around the bay to one of the few dedicated stalking pegs. At the right time, opportunities under the rod tips here. The penultimate peg on our journey is peg 30, known as Little Pipes, with access to the margins of the bay to your right, and be sure not to neglect the spots closer in here, they will let you know where they are. And last but of course no means least, it's peg 31, it's Pipes. This one's a favoured hotspot for good reason. Try shorter range towards 6 and longer range at 11 and 12. Carp holding areas abound as Pipe commands a healthy mass of water. As with second Pipes, don't neglect the short spots as well, as they can often be seen crashing close in. A few words on tactics before we go. Most tactics work on Sandhurst. Heavy baiting can have a negative effect, so keep the baiting light, fishing for a bite at a time. Keep it simple, and when the lake is switched on it can produce results to bring joy to the most hardened of hearts. Well, that concludes our tour of the lake. We hope to see you soon and share a little slice of Sandhurst magic.